Welcome to Three Martini Lunch. I am Sir Elliot. Your host today is Stephen David Elliot.
Well, we have a special treat today because Sarah's actually on camera with us. Are you nervous, Sarah?
No.
No, not at all?
Not at all.
So how are we broadcasting this? This is being broadcast all over Facebook, right? To all our groups?
Right.
Great. So everyone's a familiar face today. So you guys know the drill, but the people watching may not know. So I'm going to go into a little bit. This is the Three Martini Lunch Live. It is a virtual networking event broadcast all over the United States. We use the Success is Contagious model as a structure for this event, where our panelists, who are going to bring you a lot of great information, are going to share with you, first of all, their success that they've had in the last week since we last spoke to them. And that success can be, business oriented, or it can be family, personal, spiritual, you name it. And the purpose of that is, instead of spreading COVID, we want to spread success, right? So in this case, success is extremely contagious, and we would like you all to catch the fantastic success of the panelists. Now, those of you that are watching this, you're going, hey, how come I'm not one of the panelists? I don't know. Maybe you didn't go to our website, rockstarconnect.com, and request to be a panelist and be scrutinized by Sarah and others to determine whether you can be an actual panelist. That being said, on the right hand of your screen, at least on my screen, it's on the right hand. Is it on the right hand of everyone's screen, the chat? You can write about yourself, what your business is, give people your LinkedIn information, your social media information. You can ask questions, and Sarah will read the questions to me, or to the panel, so that we're able to answer them. And let's get started. I see a lot of familiar faces. Who wants to go first today? Someone is dying to go first. Clint always goes sort of near the last part. So why don't we start with Clint? Clint, tell us a little bit about your success and a little bit about yourself, and feel free to enlighten.
Well, what's up, Stephen and Sarah? Thank you guys for having me again, and what's up, everybody? It's great to see y'all's faces. My name is Clint Webb. I work for Coeco Office Equipment, or Carolina Office Equipment. And what we do is we do multifunctional printers, scanners, small IT jobs, etc. I am a connector at heart, and that is my passion, and that's why I'm on here and know these wonderful people. So that's a little bit about me. My success for the week is going to be twofold. First off, realizing that we raised an incredible human. So she decided to defer. I've been talking about how she's going to college, but she decided to defer for the spring semester because it went 100% online, and she knows historically she is a C student online and an A student in person. So that was great to know that she made the right decision. And also, I have a quote for you guys, like I do most every week, and this one really hits a special place. Lisa Nichols is an author and a speaker, and pretty fantastic. So if you don't know her, you should listen to her. She said, your life is a physical manifestation of the conversation going on in your head. And that's pretty deep, you guys. So just something to mull over.
That's excellent. And I think your daughter made a very wise choice. University is extremely expensive, and daddy wants a new car. So it works out perfectly, right?
Well, she doesn't, we were paying for her books and her meal plan. And that's the money that we get to save. So that's the $4,000, $5,000 that we get to save, at least for this semester. And as long as she only defers a semester, which is what's happening, she doesn't have to reapply. And so they're allowing the students to get out as long as they get out by, I think it's the 5th of September they have to opt out. And so, she just made the smart decision for her, and it's great. She's going to save up some money, and she's going to end up paying for more of college before she goes. And that's, very proud of her for that.
That's terrific. So many people, I don't know what's going on all over the country, but here in North Carolina, we have 3 universities that have sent their students home. And that was, they got there, they were there a week, and they were sent back. And it cost the parents a tremendous amount of money to pay. They're locked into leases and paid for the dormitories, paid for the meal plans. It's really absolutely crazy. And unfortunately, the media is blaming everything on the students. There's absolutely no adults there taking any blame for this situation, to think how this would possibly be, as it said in the UNC newspaper, it is a cluster blank.
I mean, somebody should have stopped the slip and slide party, Stephen. Somebody should have been grown up enough to stop that.
But they were so much fun.
I mean, it looked like a blast, Sarah. Like that's for sure, but not responsible. And if these kids want to go to school, it can't be spring break. It's got to be different.
Well, they want to live their life like the rest of us, I guess. And they're just fed up and they can't take it anymore. It's been 6 months of their childhood taken away from them, thrust into an adult space with very little adults around them, apparently.
Yeah, man. That's why these high schools out here, man, need to teach life skills instead of some of these things that they actually do.
That's what we're teaching all us people with kids at home right now, is that's what we're teaching, life skills.
Yeah.
One of the life skills I had to teach our daughter today is, don't put a honey bun in the microwave for 3 minutes.
Yikes.
Yeah, doesn't work. 15 seconds is more than enough. I do appreciate you took it upon yourself to feed yourself, because I wasn't getting out of bed, but 15 seconds is more appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and one more thing, Stephen. It's good to see you, Chris Rogers. We haven't seen you in a while, man, so it's nice to see you, brother.
Well, wasn't he on last week? Chris, weren't you on last week?
I don't think so.
No, I was not on last week. It's been a whirlwind, trying to make things happen.
So you were it must have been the ghost of Chris past.
It is, and maybe it's because I'm wearing the same shirt that I like to wear on Tuesdays. I don't know. Maybe it's just my Tuesday shirt.
The Tuesday shirt, yeah. This is my webcast shirt that hangs on my chair in my bedroom, unwrinkled and ready to jump on a Zoom webinar at any moment. So let's jump over to Chris. So Chris, you and I have a success together, as does the whole Rockstar Connect team, as well as many people on the 3 Martini Lunch that have helped promote this event. We are doing another triangle-wide event at Sullivan's Steakhouse this Thursday. I keep on going online and saying we only have a few tickets left. That's to get you to buy tickets. That being said, we only have a few tickets left. We're at about what capacity is to have it be a socially distanced event. And once those tickets are sold, we are not selling any more tickets, because we are concerned about, making sure we deliver a safe, socially distanced, super fun event. And the way that event works is, first of all, Sullivan's fits 400 people. It's a massive place. You wouldn't know if you've been there that it's that big, because it's also intimate as well, but it's very big, and they have an enormous talented staff. Prior to the event, the entire restaurant is sanitized. Tables are blocked off so people sit in the appropriate spaces. When people come into the networking event, their temperatures are checked at the door. We have a few volunteers that are doing that. You receive your name tag, you go to your seat, you can pick your seat, but Chris has devised a technique that he already knows what you're going to order when you get there. So very little interaction with the wait staff, which is also, courteous to the wait staff, so that they're not exposing themselves to anything. And then when people go table to table, they wear masks as well. So it's super safe. If you are in the Raleigh area, you should definitely go to it. If you're from out of state, you should fly in. Flights are really cheap right now. Rhonda, you could fly out if you like, and we would be happy to have you this Thursday. If you're in South Carolina or whatever, you can drive. It's really close. So we're looking forward to see you on Thursday. Chris, what has been your success in the last week?
It's been, like I said, it's been a whirlwind. Last week I couldn't jump on the panel because, to be honest, I'm really, really busy right now. consumer confidence is growing. People are wanting to go out. People are wanting to eat dinner. People are wanting to enjoy groups. And, again, we do it in a safe way here at Sullivan's. But I've booked a ton of parties. I guess my biggest success is that I see things coming back. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And again, booking parties, it's what I love to do. It's what I do, making people happy at the end of the day. And the fact that I wake up every day is enough success for me as well.
That's for sure. And really now you're only limited by what your capacity can be. Pretty much.
December last year, we were lucky enough to put 196 parties in 3 weeks in this building. This year, probably not going to be as many, but we're definitely going to wait and see what happens. Who knows? Maybe an announcement will come like a month beforehand that we can go back to full capacity, and then I can slide in a couple of little extra parties here and there. But already getting December booked up now. I mean,
all you have to do is charge 4 times as much money.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
make up all the deficit.
We do have some new menus coming down the pipeline. There's a lot of really cool things that Sullivan's is doing right now as far as operations. Really exciting stuff on our to-go business catering side. Just be on the lookout. There's some really awesome stuff going on. More wine.
I think for big venues, it's really an opportunity to be creative because, some of the small restaurants, they just, they might as well not even open.
Well, not only that, but I mean, the market share that you stand to gain if you make it through this is just tremendous. And, how do we hit on that market share and how do we gain it? And again, it's all about the guest. It's all about making the guest feel warm, welcome, cared for, and safe. And they're going to remember that. And we're making guests for life now. People who come out to dinner, enjoy a safe experience, whether they're 100% confident or not, turn into guests for life. So.
That's fantastic. And, for us, for Rockstar Connect, we're starting to do events. We had an event last week in Palm Coast, and we have an event, I think, tonight in somewhere in Florida and another one in Michigan. They're starting to pop up all over. Kim Patchen, our client concierge, is contacting different hosts and our new hosts that have signed up. So we hope to be having a lot of new events coming up in September, October, and in November. We expect to have a lot of events after November 5th, after the elections. Okay, let's see who else I'm going to speak to right now. Hi, Jackie. Welcome to the show. Welcome to 3 Martini. Do you want to unmute yourself?
I just did. Hello, Stephen and everyone.
Nice to see you. So you're indoors this week. You're usually out on your patio or at a restaurant.
It's too hot today. I attempted it and I thought, no, I think I need air today. So
I know that your organization has had some phenomenal success in the last week. Can you share that with us?
Yes, I'm so excited. This week was very special. We were able to, thanks to the support of a very generous matching donor, we were able to honor a dear friend of ours who passed away last year. And for those of you in North Carolina, you may know about Matthews Motors Auto Dealership. I believe they're headquartered in Clayton, North Carolina, but they're also big in Wilmington and a couple of other places where the owner and co-founder of that company was Steve Matthews, who was a very big supporter of the Eric Wittenburg Foundation. Steve went on to do some great things in the community in Wilmington. And as a result of that, we honored Steve this week. Unfortunately,
hey, Jackie, I think
last year Steve passed away. We wanted to make sure that, yes, he passed away last year. He had a massive heart attack. Oh. And so we decided that we wanted to do something in memory to honor Steve. And we know that UNC Wilmington was very important to him. And so we were able to award 2 scholarships in memory of Steve at UNC Wilmington this week to 2 very special students. And it just warms my heart that these particular students applied for the scholarship through their financial aid office. Otherwise, they would not have known about it because it's a memoriam scholarship. And they did not disappoint. And I'm just so grateful that we've been able to do that. And you, those of you who were not on last week, we also got to do the same thing at NC State to a very wonderful young man, Jason Lotta, who actually joined us on the panel last week. So we're pushing to do more of this because it's important to make sure that you carry on the legacy of the people who support you from the very beginning. And so that's what we're doing through this foundation, in addition to other great things that we have in the works. But that to me was pretty big this week.
Well, congratulations. That's always great to hear some good news. Let's go over to Eric. I'm gonna let you get situated. We're gonna come to you after I go to Alan. Alan, welcome. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks. You guys invited me on a couple weeks ago, but it was the day after a storm and I couldn't get online. Can you hear me okay, Sarah? Okay, it was because I had problems earlier. Yeah, my name's Alan Christianson. I own a company called the Christianson Agency. I think everybody knows this. I represent speakers, trainers, and educators. I've had a weird couple of months. I've had some health issues that were pretty freaky, but I met with the doctor yesterday and everything's coming out well, so I'm very happy about that. I've started booking some virtual meetings online because it's been a dry spell, needless to say. So I got a couple bookings last week, so I feel good about that. But in about 3 weeks, I'm going to take off and do a road trip. I have a friend that lives owns a house in Woodstock, New York that just sits there. And I'm just going to get in the car and go away for a month or two because obviously we can all work from wherever we're at. And I'll catch it right when the leaves are changing. And as Jenny knows, and most of you guys know, I'm a photographer also. So I'm just going to go escape this Raleigh area. I've had enough for a while being trapped, and I just want to get up there and try to get healthier. So that's kind of what's been going on with me. I'm building a great database for hopefully the end of this pandemic. I mean, everybody in New York, DC, Raleigh is going to know about my company if and when they start, booking live events again. So, I'm, mostly because of the doctor, I'm pretty happy today.
Well, there's a lot of demand for live events. I was speaking to a gentleman in Colorado who runs a networking company there, and they're already doing 35 events per month live. And they have been.
With how many people? I mean, how can
between 10 and 50 people.
Okay.
Coming to the events.
Yeah, I'm still
not summits or anything like that, but still
right.
Some pretty large events.
Yeah, I'm still not there yet running out in the public. I'm probably one of the few that haven't gotten a haircut since this started. This is as long as my hair has been since high school. I just don't want to take the chance at this point in my life.
Gotcha. Well,
that's why I haven't been in any of the events at Chris's place yet.
I mean, you are a little older, so I understand.
I am a little older. But I look good, don't you think?
You look good, though.
Nice.
You look good for your age. Absolutely. Hey, thanks for coming, Alan.
Appreciate the invitation.
Eric Stoller. Eric Stoller is a partner of Rockstar Connect. His company is Championship Mindset. Earlier in the year, we participated with them in their first virtual summit, which was a great success. And he has a success to talk about because he's doing another incredible event that Rockstar Connect is lucky to participate in, and we're so happy and excited and feel privileged that such a talented person like Eric would give us a call to lend a hand. Go ahead, Eric. Tell us about what you have planned. Oh, you need to unmute yourself. Can you unmute him, Sarah?
I'm good. You guys
Okay,
hear me now?
Good. Yeah, we
Awesome.
can hear you now.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon, everybody. Alan, I totally can understand. I live here in Miami, and people are a little bit more laxed here, so to speak. People are wearing masks. You know, we have things closed down, but there are a lot of people out there that are out and about. And so I think, though, you have to definitely make sure that you stay safe. There's no doubt about it. In fact, talking about big events, the Hard Rock Stadium contacted me because every December we do our expo. We do a one-day expo and seminars. So they're like, hey, what can we do? So I said, well, you tell me what we can do. You guys are the billion-dollar guys on the block. You got to have a lot smarter guys than myself figuring out, because you try to put tens of thousands of people in there. So he says, well, I'll get back to you. So, you know, it's kind of like the guys that I know who are industry guys that have been doing summits are kind of under the feeling that it's going to take a while to get back to have anything of any size. But people are out there and really want to get back, because we are, you know, we are social creatures by nature. So we're excited, Steve. I mean, in like less than like 3 weeks, we have our next summit. It's called Masters and Legends. You know, if you don't know about me, I started my career 30 years ago working with Brian Tracy as a sales rep, traveling the country with one of his promoters and speaking all over. And I thought it would just be a short-lived thing. And who would know 30 years later, I'd work with him and Les Brown and Coach Bollettieri, and I mean, hundreds of speakers, and created, you know, thousands of events. So this one is a 3-day event. And I mean, we're charging big money. So like, you know, if anybody is like, I don't know if they can go, it's $9.95 for a general admission ticket, you know? So, in fact, yeah. And, you know, we have like, you know, we created like a tiered structure. So if people want to market it and be an affiliate, and then we can train them how to be affiliates. And we have a VIP, an elite VIP. Anyway, the point is, we pivoted, and this one is 3 days. So the first day, it's all sales and marketing. And our keynoter is Brian Tracy, who has been around for 40 years. Him and I are like, we haven't talked in a while, and we've been talking, and I'm on a Zoom call with him for 2 hours, multiple times. So, you know, people would pay big money for that. And because of my relationship, he's going to really share with people on how do you make more money? How do you sell more stuff? How do you sell more of the things that you're doing? Because that's what people want to know how to do. Everybody wants to know how do you keep marketing and selling? Because you know what? Within this pandemic, there's haves and have-nots, right? And so we want to be on the have side. So I said, what do people really want to need? So the Masters and Legends. So each day is coupled like day 1, sales and marketing, Brian. Day 2, coaching, Coach Bollettieri. Day 3, master your message, Les Brown. But I've brought on, Steve, experts like Ken Dunn on how to write a book and put on your virtual course. Robbie Blanchard, the #1 affiliate marketing person for ClickBank. He makes millions of dollars. Adrian Morrison, top email marketing guy, same thing. Big digital marketing guy. A woman, Tracy Fines, who shows people how to flip houses. Our platform, Champion Mindset, is about learn, networking, and growing. So we also nurture people that want to get in the speaking space. And in fact, some of my students are speaking on our event, but we've been working with them diligently to help them get their skills up, get their books launched, get their marketing done. And I share this with you because the world we're living in now, I truly believe you got to create multiple streams of income. So here we got people that are in the space that are not like, hey, I picked up a book, I'm doing it. No, these people that are actually have made, and most of them are, you know, super successful individuals that have made 6 and 7 figures and have established businesses over many years. And that's coupled by all these super great speakers. Now, what I also did, and Alan, you might be interested in this, because one of the ladies I brought in is a lady named Anastasia Chaplis, who's she's a doctor, and she focuses on the immune system. So she's going to share with people what are the things you need to do to keep your immune system high right now. And I also invited a couple of gentlemen, one named Ian Clark, the other Bob Kilpatrick, and they do 2 phenomenal products. One called Boomer Boost that I started taking. It's a cardiovascular product, and the other one is iodine and chlorophyll. So these guys have, like, literally people were like near death, and they've like help them. I'm a heart patient. I've been taking Boomer Boost. I say this to anybody. It's not expensive. Stuff's unbelievable. I mean, my medication, I can just tell you, and I'm just sharing this. So we wanted to bring in wealth, health, sales, marketing, finance. And then of course, part of the 3 days, we've created some special time with Les and Brian and a panel session for them together. And so it's a great opportunity to learn. All the speakers have different things to present, but at the end of the day, I believe that people will walk away from this event with truly tools that they can use to help them not only make more money, but give them that shift. And beyond that, we've got, as we've talked, we've got webinars. We have a 7-week series with Brian Tracy and Les Brown. So we're keep creating until they say we can come out and hang out with you guys and be out in the public down here, as we'd love to be.
Well, we speak to Eric not every week, but at least once a month, maybe twice a month. And this is a real labor of love for him. And doing virtual, I got to tell you guys, I do virtual events too. I do live events. The money is in the live events. It's really in the live events. But, people like Eric, he wants to keep on giving, and he wants to give his people that he's been mentoring the opportunity to speak on a national stage and to increase their business, but also to share their wisdom. So good people on this panel, that are speakers that you should connect with, Eric, and I'm sure they will connect with you. Rhonda
sure.
Sher, Unleashing LinkedIn, amazing person for connections. Noah Ronen, you should definitely speak to her. And Katia, Rob, amongst other people that are here on the panel. So everyone make sure that, and whoever's a ringing phone, turn it off. And,
that's my house. I'm sorry.
It's okay. But definitely connect with Eric. And we're really excited because yesterday we just had a really good conversation, and we're just at different places. So when we first met, the world was ending.
Right.
That's what it felt like to us. And we were, on desperation. What are we going to do? Getting at her hair. And it was hard, to create a relationship under those situations. But now, several months later, we know the world isn't going to completely end. Everyone around us are smart people. They're going to help us, and we're going to help them. It feels like a lot better. Don't you agree, Eric?
Oh, 100%. And, look, you know what? I deal with so many entrepreneurs and stuff. I have friends of mine that still travel over the country. They're like, God, we got to open up the country, because they see it. They're traveling to different cities, and there's the airlines. There's not much commerce. My buddy just told me he's flying back and forth from New York for $30. I mean, but every time he goes to his place in New York, he's like 14 days. But man, I want to say this to you, and I want to say this to the people on your panel. It is a labor of love, but we've actually been able to push our business to a full point digital, because now we have our whole coaching program and we're expanding that. And what's cool about it is that people have now realized this is the norm right now. This is not the anomaly. We are living the norm, and I know what you guys are doing is you guys are right there in front with getting people out in front of each other, because I know they want to. I was at our chamber office this morning. We had an event last week. It's a big space with social distancing, but still a lot of people will not go out. They're still very cautious, and I know that. But I want to say this to people, and then I'll end, because I know you got to move on. I can really show people, because I'm going to start doing event strategy, and maybe you and I could do something, that we've taken these summits and we're making them profitable. I mean, the Facebook, I'd love to talk to your LinkedIn people. I just know that there's so much out there, and I was doing them free, but I said, let's charge even a few dollars so people are committed. I mean, for $10, the amount of stuff I give you, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's worth $200-300, but the idea is people are just getting engaged and they're getting involved, and and we have such a great network. In fact, how did I get to you? Well, Mark Sher is a big proponent of ours. Mark is speaking at this event. He's doing a 30-minute talk on his program. So I share this with people because we've just brought on a whole team of people that are just givers, and then all like Eric, we want to keep working with you because I've created the video library platform that in all these speakers training can be there for ongoing and help them leverage their businesses. So I'm very excited to connect with your people. Do we have your link? Do you have your link for the event to share with people? They want to put it out?
Yes, Sarah dropped the link in for the event.
Okay. Yeah. So anybody that goes, that's Steve's direct link, for the event. And Rockstar, anybody says they get compensated. I just share that because it's the same thing. If anybody wants to make money, we want to help everybody create multiple streams. So they, listen, we used to do events that did a minimum of $250,000. We're doing an event, it'll take in 40, 50,000. That still seems like a lot, but comparatively, we're doing a fifth of our business. But I have reduced some of my speaker costs and other costs. But I will tell you, the speakers aren't free. The Les Browns and Brian Tracy, they're doing nothing for free. In fact, now because they're in demand, their price is going to start to go up. So I locked them in for some good rates.
Well, that's a good thing. And, it's just, I've been taking so many calls, everyone from around the country who does, events is now virtual. And this, I'm going to talk about it just a little more because I know it's going to be interesting to people in the audience and you panelists. The networking group companies like my own, and, there's a bunch of us, but, Rockstar Connect is one of the largest. We didn't communicate that frequently with the people that did the summits and the conferences. And it was sort of silly because it's the same audience. The same people that want to learn at these summits and conferences and conventions are the same people that go to networking events. And now I'm finding that we're all reaching out to one another and sort of merging that in. So there's a recognition amongst the people that are doing the big events that, yeah, people go to the big events to hear speakers, but they also go to network too.
Absolutely.
And they're going there because, you might make your next deal, get your next gig. And it goes the other way, with the networking events, there's a lot of people there that are going there to meet people to give them knowledge. And if they can go to a summit or a convention to start that search, that's a great place for them too. Eric, thank you for taking the time to be on the show. You mentioned LinkedIn. I'm going to put Rhonda on next because Rhonda is our LinkedIn expert nationally. And she's going to tell us a little bit about her successes this week.
So I'm Rhonda Sher, and I'm a LinkedIn strategist. And what I do is I help people to, what I like to say, get out of the LinkedIn Witness Protection Program so they can get found and book 2 to 10 appointments a week with their ideal client or referral partner. And, one of the things that I talk a lot about are recommendations on LinkedIn. And I'm really guilty because I typically don't ask for them, but I always tell my clients to. And the success for me was, and I'll just read it to you, was a recommendation that a client of mine who's a commercial real estate agent.
And the first day we had this bed, I go, wow, it was really worth that research because Sarah woke up with the biggest smile on her face.
And I am
Right?
not a morning person. Like, I am not a morning person.
I don't engage her until she engages me in the morning.
Yeah.
Because I know that's just the smartest thing to do. And that's what we do. But this bed was great. So we had called one of the engineers there to ask a question about the bed. And we started talking about the bed. And he's like, he was on the phone for us for an hour. We get a call the next day from the owner of the company.
Nice.
And he's like, we're now going to be setting up a meeting to see how we can let people learn about his bed, because for our attendees, quality of sleep is huge. It really is. If you get 20 minutes more of high quality sleep every single day over a year, how much more productive are you going to be in your business? So we're excited about that. But let me go over to Jenny Midgley before Domenic starts typing to her. And she loses time. I have to repeat the question. So Jenny is actually going, like Jacqueline, is going to be a sponsor on Thursday of the 3 Martini lunch. She's bringing 4 guests with her, so we're very excited that she's going to be stepping up to the plate and helping out Rockstar Connect and all the Rockstar Connect attendees. Tell us about the successes you've had in the week. I know something about the mail. You've had success with the mail.
Yes. All right. So personal success. I have a 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old daughter, and we had been pretty successful at fooling her because she can't read. So any junk mail would just go to her, and she'd say, you know, oh, I got mail. She's very excited. So one day there was one thing in the mailbox, and it just happened to be for her brother for something for school, which ironically, good segue follow up from Domenic, was is his gratitude journal. So I got him like a special, it's for tweens and kids. It's called the Big Life Journal, and they can write things, and it's a whole thing, and he needs that. So it's just his, so he can do that every night with school. And anyway, so my daughter was screaming, and literally, so I took a video and posted it on Facebook, and everything is public on my Facebook, and my kids have their own hashtags, and you can just go find me, and I'm there. And you can see it for yourself. So when I went and recorded that video of her sitting outside on her scooter crying, it was 15 minutes after I brought the mail in that was not for her, and she was still sitting out there crying. And I thought it was just funny. I'm like, ridiculous 4-year-old logic, right? Like, she's still sitting out there 15 minutes later crying. Well, people were very sad for her and wanted to make her happy. So I started getting all these messages and comments to just like, hey, PM me your address. I'll send her something in the mail. And so as we've been receiving things, I've been doing live videos of her so excited opening her mail. And now we have a stack of thank you cards to send. That she is also, now it's helping her learn to write her name. So it's Samantha. So, I mean, we're just taking it at SAM. She can write that. So
this is why it's so good, you know, to have the kids at home now, because you have to realize Sam is 22 years old. She didn't know how to read before.
No.
And now she knows how to read. She's learning to write her name. So that's definitely a success.
Yeah.
So check out Jenny's page and watch her. She can't be 22, right?
No, I mean, she's the size of like a leprechaun, so.
I don't think I've missed one day of your mail getting opened since I saw her crying on video. Honestly, I've seen like every day, and she's adorable. She's, yes, I got the mail. She's so cute.
She's probably getting more mail than any of us all together.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
if you can get her to start answering your emails, that will be the success.
Hallelujah. That would be the biggest success. And, you know, and so somebody was like, hey, we can make this go viral and save the post office. So everybody go buy stamps, and Samantha can be your new pen pal.
Gosh, I used to buy so many stamps when I was a kid. I used to buy them, you know, by the sheet to collect them. I don't know when I stopped doing that, but it was a long time ago.
And where did they all go?
Where did they all go? My brother probably sold them, you know, when I was in college, like I did with all my other things. Okay, so let's go over to Andrew in Wilmington. Andrew is a real estate agent. He's a chef. He's a marketing guru. What's your success for the week, Andrew?
Success for the week was having a house full of guests from out of town safely, and our friend turned 40, so we had a socially distant birthday party, and I had 6 dogs who had never been around each other all in my house, and there were 0 dog fights.
But all the dogs now have COVID.
All the dogs now have best friends, and they're all depressed.
Oh, because they can't be with each other all the time.
Like Schooner keeps going upstairs and looking for JoJo, and she's not here anymore.
So I would imagine, you know, because the weather's going to get pretty nice in the beach, like in, about a month? It'll be pretty cool outside at the beach. So we can probably start doing some outdoor Rockstar Connect events.
Yeah, this is the time of year that I like to call the local summer, because in a normal school year, this is when school's in session and the rentals are empty, the rates are low, but the weather's still nice and the fish are still running.
Well, I'll tell you, they're not that empty now at the beach.
No, but it's not a normal year either.
Yeah, I mean, in North Carolina right now, if you are booking vacations at the mountain or the beach or the lake, it's just like it's summer vacation. I mean, people are just extending the summer. You know, so last week I think we talked a little bit about the museum. No, it was on Facebook. I was talking about the museums in New York are closed. I found out the museums in DC are open. Wow. And what they're doing is you call ahead of time and you make an appointment, and they put you on a slot and you go in, so that way they can keep a distance. And since so many kids now are home, I mean, it's a great opportunity to take your kids to the Smithsonian and really have them have an incredible educational experience during the school year. So we're working on that. We want to check it out and take our younger one there and maybe our older one, if we can get her to be seen in public with us, out to DC. And just try other different things. We booked a trip to St. Augustine. This week, we had another big success. We took my mother out for her 74th birthday to the Umstead Hotel. It had been the first time my father and mother have been in a restaurant since March. So they were like, whoa. It was a very different experience with them. Luckily, it was, at the Umstead, which is pretty calm and quiet, ambient vibes, so they were able to handle it. So people are definitely going out. Sarah and I are regularly going and supporting local restaurants as frequently as we can, and we can't wait to be at Sullivan's this Thursday with everyone that can attend.
Yes, Stephen, we actually ordered a big party pack of food from a local restaurant trying to help them out. And we were so disappointed. It was kind of like they forgot what they were good at, because we spent like $400 for 12 people. We were all kind of looking around like, wow, we probably should have reinvested that somewhere else. This is not what they're known for.
Well, yeah. Well, I think a lot of the restaurants, it's difficult to translate from being, in-house to delivery.
Oh, we went and picked it up. It was just, they had to put it together, but it was,
it wasn't impressive.
Like 2 people spend $120 total kind of place. So to do the big bulk boxed dinner.
Yeah, I think our check, at the Umstead probably came to about that for 4 people.
Yeah.
And we didn't drink that much, so we made our contribution to the economy. Hey, so Michael, maybe Alan should visit you when he goes up to Hudson Valley next week. Alan, Michael is the king of the Hudson Valley. He is our host in the Hudson Valley area for Rockstar Connect.
All right.
Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself and your success, and then maybe you can hook up with Alan up there.
I already did that. I already reached out to him.
Yeah.
Woodstock's not that far away, so it's about maybe 35 minutes away on the other side of the river.
Okay.
So I'm in Poughkeepsie. My name's Michael Arrick. I'm a real estate agent in New York and Florida. But what I realized is houses don't sell themselves. So I did something else part-time, spare time, to cracks in my schedule, and that's actually starting to take over. So it's fun. I'm helping people make money from home. It's amazing. I just counted. I got 15 people right now that got a bonus of $700 and invested $200. So it just makes sense getting paid on services everybody uses, needs, and wants every day. And just getting excited. I mean, really, if it wasn't for the virus, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm very thankful that I had this opportunity and I was well trained to know what to do when this and this Zoom platform, and just the network, just making somebody else's network your network, and just knowing how to network and talk and break the ice. And people don't care how much you know, like Rhonda said, until they find out how much you really care. You know what I mean? Like I see it in my own family, my own brother. You know what I mean? Comes in, is like talks about him the whole time. Doesn't even talk about anybody else around him. You know what I mean? So that's just an eye opener when you see your own family doing it. You know what I mean? And you got friends you're trying to help. So it's not about you. It's not about you. It's about other people around you. Okay? Because you're
100%. And
so that's my motto.
You're a host up in New York, and it's about time we're going to start doing your events too.
Yep.
Cases are going.
I hope Javon's listening. Javon, you listening? We're coming
Javon,
back, buddy.
And we're gonna, find a nice, good venue for you up there. Well, everyone who's a host here, and all the hosts, raise your hand. Rhonda, Domenic, you all know Kim, right? Kim Patchen calls you all the time. She's with Rockstar Connect. We're very happy that starting next week, she's going to start calling all the hosts and see which hosts are ready to either continue their events, or maybe they're going to take a break and we're going to find new hosts for their areas. And so we can start servicing these communities all over the country that need to connect, because as you know, people that are in Rockstar Connect, they always need to connect. Kim, why don't you share with us some of the successes that you've had this week?
Well, thank you, Stephen. Thank you guys for having me again. That's really a big one, is looking forward to getting back on the phone with Rockstar Connect.
working with you guys allows me to maintain the lifestyle that I want. And you know, it's something that I enjoy doing. I love connecting with these people, and I like getting on here and seeing the familiar faces. Hopefully we can help you get you know, some live events rolling, but if not, the virtual thing is still here for us in many avenues. You know, we just gotta do what we feel comfortable with and just be nice, I guess.
So Kimberly,
you know,
Kimberly has a side gig that she's been working on the last couple months. She owns her own company where she hand manufactures the most wonderful candles. But beyond that, she's created an online community for people that are creators. So people that make soap and people that make their own clothing that they sell, or you know, make shoes or artwork. And could you tell us a little bit about that community and how people can participate and what type of people you would like? And like Jenny would be a good person for that group.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of collaborating going on there. So the group is called Hungry Creators, and basically a couple friends and I started it in 2009, and you know, just sat around on Facebook and didn't do much. But lately, with people really wanting to support each other's businesses and work, especially with those of us that make products, we are sort of just, well, the idea here is to have a community for people to share. And then hopefully when the holidays come around and everyone is in this group, we can, instead of purchasing from the big conglomerates, we can go into this group of people in our network that we know and purchase gifts for birthdays or holidays from local artists and craft persons. There's also people in the group that run businesses. You know, speaking of Jenny Midgley, I get a little starstruck when she's on here because I've actually been listening to their podcast pretty regularly since back when she had Domenic on there. I actually put it on my routine every day, so it plays at 8:30 a.m. And I was totally shocked when Sarah Elliot was live on my podcast that I was listening to. So I was like, yes, this is awesome. So yeah, that's a success right there in itself. But yeah, the group is for collaborating. There's a lot of that going on in my business this week. Sincerely Candle Company this week has actually been about creating and collaborating. I'm working with Jessa Smith in Alaska, who's helping me create labels for my candles. We're gonna put, you know, smart ass labels on candles and make them fun for people and hopefully make people laugh. So she's gonna help me with that. We have a call after this. There's been a success in you know, in the development of Stephen and Sarah's new business, Contract to Close. The website is moving along very well, and I'm very excited to connect with real estate agents about the services that we're going to offer there. There's a lot of business successes. I actually sold a service with ACN, so I think Mike jumped off the call now, but I've connected with him, and he's been mentoring me to make some money there with ACN from home. So I sold one of the services there just yesterday.
Were you one of those people that got a bonus that he was talking about?
No, I'm not that much of a mover and shaker, so I can only put so much time into it. But I'm looking forward to working a little bit harder with that. So this week has been about the kids the past couple of weeks, and I'm happy to have the flexibility to do that. I've really, you know, I homeschooled the three of them, so.
As do all of us now.
Yeah.
So one of the things, you know, that I did this week, and this is, you know, a lot of you do LinkedIn introductions to one another. A lot of people don't use LinkedIn. A lot of creative people, they just don't love LinkedIn. They don't like the way it appears. They don't like the immediacy of it. And someone in my network makes soaps. So I did a connection on Messenger between Kimberly and that person, and hopefully they'll be able to do business with one another. So you can use Facebook for business. I use Facebook more for business than LinkedIn, and I get more success from it. So give it a shot. If you see someone who is a creator that you want to connect with Kimberly, by all means, make sure that they connect through Messenger. Noah, you ready?
Hi there.
I know. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You haven't been on for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And remind everyone, nobody's forgotten you, but it's good to give them a little reminder. And share with us what your success has been for the week.
I'm an executive and leadership coach. I work with social business leaders. I help them shift from doing business leadership to being the leader they can be, because not always is what you want to be, but what you can be. And last week I wasn't with you because I took the time off to celebrate my birthday and my daughter's sweet
Happy
16
birthday.
at the beach. I was close to Andrew. I didn't realize that. But we had a lot of fun. I had the vision of waking up in the morning and see the sea from my window, and that's what I did. So we had a lot of fun. I could get up in the morning and go on a run. And the best part, if you are a mother like me, I didn't need to bring anything to the beach with me. It was just towels, kids, that's it. And that was perfect experience. I talk a lot with my clients about values. And I realized that the reason I enjoyed the beach so much is that in our situation right now, where there are so many limitations, being at the beach is probably one of the only places that no one can ruin for you and you can enjoy the freedom. So that was one piece. And some of you see that I always put pictures of very clean cooking that I do. So my daughter has to follow a special way of eating, a special diet because of health issues. So I made her a really amazing cake from tahini, if you know what it is. After going through cooking through a lot of different limitations, no sugar, no so many things, to create something that is really yummy for your daughter's sweet 16, that's a real success.
It certainly is.
Yeah. And
Where
I have to say,
tahini, locally?
There is a bakery, an amazing bakery in Cary, in the Indian market area that some people call, in downtown Cary. There is a bakery called Baghdad. And there you can first buy the best pita bread ever. If you put it in your car, it has the best smell. It brings me back home. I'm originally from Israel. And they have an amazing tahini there. Really one of the best.
And you have to start with a high quality tahini or you're lost.
Yes.
That's
yes.
the key recipe. I'm sorry I cut you off. You were going to share another success with us.
So I just wanted to, there was a conversation about how we need to pivot. And one of the things that I want to mention is that when the COVID-19 started, I was on the hike speaking in a lot of different conferences and events, started, also being paid for speaking, selling my book that you can see in the background. But something very interesting happened to me. I was in kind of like integrity check-in, reality check with myself. And I realized from pivoting into being interviewed and being a guest in a lot of podcasts, that I actually enjoy more having podcast conversations with podcast hosts than being many times on conferences stage, because for me, the connection that is happening in that conversation is different than when I do workshops or group coaching or when I'm a guest on podcast. So that was a moment of checking in with my ego and saying, are you doing those conferences and events because it's an ego thing, or really because that's the way you want to share your message? So, in all those situations when it feels like I can't handle it, it's too much, I also believe that there are a lot of good things happening because we can pause and be true with ourselves and see what's important and what's not important. And find the best way for us to take a business to the next step. So I think it was very interesting exploration and, kind of like an honest conversation with self. So I invite people to just, look there and see, do you do things because of your ego or because it's really important to you?
Right. I mean, you got to have a little bit of hustle too. You have to have a little bit of hustle. So when I started in real estate 10 years ago, it was a terrible real estate market, right after the crash. And my colleagues, they would be like, oh, there's no business. We can't make any money. And these leads were coming in from Johnston County and from not from Wake County, but outside of Wake County. And everyone was saying, it's not worth the gas to drive out there. They didn't want to drive out with the gas. And I drove out, and I was, my first year, rookie of the year, did fantastically well with those leads. And now COVID came. I joined the Fayetteville MLS, another MLS. I'm selling property up at Lake Gaston. I'm driving, 2 hours, 3 hours for the business. In this day and age, if I can get into my convertible with my wife, possibly the dog, definitely no kids, and satellite radio, I can go anywhere. So, some of you may say the business isn't there. It's there. You just might have to go out of your comfort zone to go get it. And it may bring you back to where you started. And sometimes that's refreshing, to feel, because you enjoy that hustle. There's an accomplishment from working hard and gaining success from it, because it seems that whenever you work hard, there is a success of a sort, 100%. We're going to go over to Katia, Rob, and then we're going to do the question of the day for the second half of the show. Katia, what are your thoughts? What are your success for the week, and what have you taken from these other panelists today?
Wow, so much. So from Noah on, like you have to be, and you say back to Noah, then you have to be ready to hustle. And it's so true. I think, we are into a period of time where we can't just be like sitting and waiting for things to happen. We have to take steps. And one of my professional success this week is I've been wanting to speak in Dubai for this amazing conference where my ideal client is going to be, and it's huge. And we finally, they got together with me. They said, yes, but we want to have you as a speaker. However, you probably don't want it because it's, the best slot then we want to offer you would be at 2 p.m. Well, 2 p.m. in Dubai is 6 a.m. for me. And I was like, how is that a problem?
Right?
Right? I was like, how is that a problem? You saying then you want to give me the best spot. You actually want to have me. I'm going to be in front of my ideal client, in front of 775 tickets who have been sold already. Why would I have a problem to be all nice and dolled up by 6 a.m.? And that kind of put things in perspective for me, especially as a business coach. I feel like a lot of time people want it, but they're not willing to work for it. And what you talked about driving, it's like the people who are willing to go that extra step, the people who are willing to do this, they're the one who are successful right now. And that's kind of, that's kind of point end of the story. And my second success was actually I just got my marriage license today. So I went to, in Durham, we finally got it. Last week they closed because they had a COVID case. So a lot of things with this wedding is not happening the way we want to. And I think because I'm so grateful and I teach my client to be grateful and we need to be happy. And I have not also let the fact that, this is not happening how I want. And actually I have to give credit to Noah. Because Noah sent me a really cute message saying that, it's okay also to say, this is not how we want it. And this is not happening. And a lot of time, because I'm so grateful and because I teach my client to be happy and stay in the grooves and, push forward, I don't think I let myself be also grieving for this wedding was not going to be the way I want. And our honeymoon just got canceled by American Airlines. We were supposed to go to Nicaragua, and now we're not able to go there anymore. And it was the same thing. I was like, well, look at my life. I mean, I have a great job and I have great kids and I have a home and I have a job. And, I'm always trying to look at what is. But, you know, on this one, I really needed to, it was a success for me to say, you know, it's okay to be sad. And it's okay to say, you know, this is not how I wanted it. And that for me was in itself a success because I don't let myself go into these emotions.
I agree. And, you know, it's with Noah's talking about the ego. I think a lot of us are going into the breakdown of the ego, because we're not doing things exactly the way that we did before that may have given us prominence in our community. And we're recognizing that people are not rejecting us for that, because it wasn't what you did, it's who you were. That's why they valued you. You sort of see what I'm saying with that?
Yeah, I love that.
It's really freeing, because it allows you to step away from what might have been your traditional role. In the case of Noah, you know, having to leave her children to go do a speaking engagement, which is, you know, yes, she loves to do the speaking engagement, but no, she doesn't want to leave her husband and children behind. They don't get to participate in that. Mm-hmm. So now she can go on, any one of us can go on our podcast, and the children can be in the next room. And afterwards, you know, we do 3 martini lunch. The kids come up to us and go, "How was 3 martini lunch today?" How was that? And it's they're participating. They know they have to be quiet and, you know, hold the dog down and other things. So there's a lot of successes for all of us. This is a great equalizer. It really gives you the opportunity to reach out to some people that may have been too self-important and busy to take a call from you. And now they recognize how important it is to keep that phone ringing, and you'll have the opportunity to speak with them more on an equal level. Thank you, Katia. Thank you, Noah. That was some great stuff that you shared. Okay, so question of the day. So now we have Caroline, who's a trainer, joining us. Norma, who's a coach. Katie, who is a head of an organization and also a coach. Mark Sher, you know, nationally known speaker on deck. And they're gonna get to participate first, because everybody else got to go. So they're gonna participate first. And so this is the question for the week. And if you need more explanation of it, you can answer it as simply or as complex as you like. If you want me to explain a little bit more, I'll be happy to do that too. But this is the question this week. And Sarah, you thought it was a really good one. Do you want to answer the question first, Sarah? No, you don't want to answer the question first. So I'm going to have Mark Sher answer the question first today. Mark, what do you have to teach us?
What do I have to teach you today?
What do you have to teach us? Yes.
Well, very simple. It's all about people who work and are successful. When I talk to people and I ask them a very simple question, where is the sun when you wake up? They go, what do you mean? I go, where is the sun when you wake up? They go, well, the sun's up. So it means, okay, that tells me that you're not a hard worker. Because people who work hard on many times are going to see the sun rise. That's my lesson for today.
Also, I think another lesson, and tell me if I'm wrong, but this is only because every week, you know, I'm talking to someone that Mark has introduced me to or connected me to, or people I've connected him with reporting back to me. You take the opportunity to speak with anyone, to share with them what you know. You'll speak to a group of people, you'll speak to an individual. Is that a part of this, of what you want to teach and the secret of your success?
Well, you could say that. We have a system. So, you know, in any business, everyone's always talking about, it's all about, how do I find clients? How do I find leads? And we use something called, you know, this isn't our number one way, but for someone who needs it, call it the Barney Rubble lead system. What is that? Well, you can go to the beach and you can stand by a rock. And when someone walks by, you go, you're the first person who walked by the rock. What's your name? My name is, and start a conversation with them. How's that?
That's a terrific way to do it. I mean, we're very much on the same page. You know, I think we've had a very similar education in sales and leads, and people are always concerned about how they're going to generate leads. They spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to generate leads. When I started in real estate, people would say, how are you going to get your business? And I said, well, I'm going to go get my hair cut, and I'm going to talk to the people that are cutting hair, and I'm going to go to the grocery store, and I'm going to help people pick groceries off the top shelf and the bottom shelf. And I'm going to go to the tailor, and I'm going to talk to the tailor, and I'm going to go get myself some business. And invariably, every time I did that and put myself out there, I would get business. I didn't need a click funnel or anything complicated to do that. It's just going out there and being, does everyone know what a mensch is? Mark knows what a mensch is. A mensch is a human being, a good person that cares about other people. I would go and get my hair cut and, just be nice to the person who's cutting my hair. And they'd say, well, what do you do for a living? So, well, I'm in real estate. Do you have an interest in real estate? They go, absolutely. I always wanted to own my own home. I'd say, what are you doing at 3 o'clock? Let's go buy a house. And that's what we do. We go buy a house at 3 o'clock. So for those of you out there that are, looking for that elusive, I'm going to write a check to go get business and get leads, maybe you write a check to get in front of more people so you have the opportunity to speak to more people. But we are in the richest time of free leads in the history of the world. You can open up your Facebook, you can open up your LinkedIn, you can call your friends, you can take a walk down the street. And if you have something of value to teach like Mark does, you're going to sell 100%. Now, a lot of you don't know what Mark does. Mark helps people get out of debt and stay out of debt for life. And he also teaches them how to be their own bank. By all means, anyone who's listening out in the Facebook world where this is being broadcasted, don't be shy. Connect with Mark on LinkedIn and set up an appointment to speak with him. Katie Blomquist, what do you have to teach us?
Well, what I have to teach the world is that you can make a difference too. Lots of people think, oh, I don't have a big enough network to start a nonprofit, or I don't have enough money to donate to a nonprofit to make a difference, or I don't have enough time to volunteer. But all of those things are incorrect. Everyone, a dollar can go a long way with this small nonprofit. Like, it really does mean something. I've had people say to me, I'm so sorry, all I could donate was $10. And I say, but that just bought a lock and a helmet for a child. That is something for us. And they say, oh, that makes me feel so much better because now I know it actually it had an impact. Or people say they don't have time or a big enough network to start a nonprofit, but they do if they follow certain steps that I can provide for someone on how to do that, where it takes the time out and help you build your network. And you have a bigger network than you think, because your network has a network. And when people know and like you, they want to help you. Just like with your friends' businesses, a nonprofit is a business too. It's just one where we don't keep all of the money, we give it back out. So there's a lot people can do when they don't think, even they think that they can't.
That's excellent. And for people that are just meeting you for the first time, could you let them know what your
Sure. So I have a nonprofit called Going Places, and we provide new custom bikes to every child at once in the low-income elementary schools and big surprise bike reveals. So we're giving 400, 600 bikes at once. And then I also have an online course where I teach you how to start your own nonprofit. And I take you through the first 7 months in real time, coaching you step by step along the way through virtual lessons and one-on-one coaching.
Fantastic. I think all of our panelists will eventually speak to you and probably become your client at some point or another. Thank you, Katie. And Katie is located in South Carolina, in Charleston. They call that the Queen City?
No, we're the Low Country.
The Low Country.
The Holy City. We're the Holy
City. The Holy City.
Queen
Great.
City, Charlotte, Stephen.
Is that right?
Yes.
I don't get out enough. Norma, we're gonna have Norma on next. Norma is out in California, and she is an incredible speaker and coach. As soon as you hear her voice, you know she speaks with authority, and gives great value to not only her clients but her friends and the people in her network. She has been a host for Rockstar Connect out in California. And basically, I mean, she did that just to, to support her community. She completely altruistic in every way, and she wants to teach people how to be better. What do you want to teach us today?
Well, you're right in my line, because I love to teach people about who they are. I answer the question of who am I when you ask that question, especially when you're in transition. And this is something that I spent 30 years studying. And since you said to be as short or as complex as necessary, this is my authenticity grid. I don't know if you can see it very well, but that's the who am I question. And I have that on my website as an assessment. So I invite anyone that would like to know deeper about their own level of authenticity. And who we are is three different, with 9 energies that run between us, which is what I identified. And it's a combination between our inner voice that no one hears but us, our outer voice, how people perceive us, and our expressive voice, which is who we have become. And so I ask you 9 questions of the 3 energies in each of those voices. At normahollis.com, if you scroll down halfway down the page, you can see the assessment. It is a free assessment. And when I joined the call, someone was talking about ego. And one of the things I teach is the difference between your inner voice and your ego, because they both speak to you often in the same way. But it's really important because they have totally different messages. And it's really important to identify the difference between the two. So that's what I have to teach. I have to teach you who you are and more about your own authenticity and how to fortify your vulnerabilities and also work from your strengths and fortify your vulnerabilities. The best leaders understand where their gaps are, and they make provisions for the gaps with the people that are around them. And it's really important to understand that to be the most effective leader possible.
You're a fantastic speaker, by the way. Have you've been on this panel, multiple times. You've observed some of the people here. Have you seen people evolving that are participating in the panel? Or is there anyone you'd like to point out that you're particularly
no one I want to point out right now, but I will in the future. Having had the invitation, I don't do that unless I'm invited to do that. But having had the invitation, I will do that.
Because I know that you're going to be able to really strengthen someone. Everyone values what you have to say. Would you agree with that? Everyone raise your hand.
Thank you very much. You make it my day.
Always happy to have you on the program. So our next person that's going to answer the question is Caroline, and she is a trainer. And she taught me several weeks ago the difference between a coach and a trainer. And I wasn't aware of the difference. And I found out that you could be a trainer or a coach, or you could be both. But just because you're a trainer doesn't mean you're a coach. Caroline, since you are a trainer, you can teach to the best of us. What can you teach us today?
So what I can teach you is one of the most valuable skills a human being can practice and hone, and that's the ability to focus attention. The ability to focus attention really is the key to a successful life. Lots of people will talk about be positive, don't be negative. Be positive, don't be negative. But if you're always bouncing between those 2 points, being present, which means you're just here now, your attention's out, you're fully in the moment, really is a place of kind of neutrality. You're just here now, you're just at one with whatever's going on. And I love what you said, Stephen, about going out and getting business. But in my world, the attention on the end result is actually getting the job done. You had attention on creating business. And then from that, you took, let's say, a positive action. You went to the hair salon, you were nice to people, they wanted to know about you, and you got the end result. But the attention on the end result, which is why when people have their attention on what they don't want, they actually get more of it. Now, you need to handle that effectively, but being positive isn't really the answer to negativity. Being present is the only way to really be very deliberate with your life and get more of what you want.
So for the people that you were watching on the panel today, who do you see that has that type of focus and attention?
You, Stephen, you're very focused. You know, what I love about you is you do really pick up on what people are saying and can hone in on it. So you're focused for sure. But there's always room for growth.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
yeah.
I feel that there's an opportunity for growth every day. And there's also, sometimes you just sort of backslide a little bit.
Well, sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards, right?
Right. Go back to your roots and learn from the beginning, Thank you so much for being back on, Caroline. We really
Pleasure.
appreciate you. Sarah, you ready for this question, or do you want me to ask someone else?
No, I'm ready.
You're ready? What do you want to teach us today?
Well, what I would love to teach everybody, which I don't know that I could teach online, but it's patience. And we deal with a lot of things that go off the rails often. And it's, Stephen and I have worked together 5 years, 6 years now. And I would like to think that one of my greatest strengths is not only organization, but just keeping an even keel, because it's very easy to, and I'm not saying I'm even all the time. Everybody gets not even sometimes. But when things are really flying out of control, I know how to calm people down and get it all back to where we can actually have a rational conversation, where it's not like yelling and screaming at, whether it's an outside force or an inside force. And I don't know that there is necessarily a trick to that, but it's certainly a skill, and it's certainly something that in the moment when you see it happening, if you're around somebody who can do that, it is something that you can learn, because you can pick up on it and see what they do. But I don't know that there's a trick to it.
I think that it's the very rare person that has that quality that you have. It's a hard quality to teach. Sarah can diffuse a situation in minutes. People are aggravated or upset, or they feel they're being slighted. Sarah can correct that in a moment. I think part of it is your control over your own situation. You don't stay mad.
Ever.
Ever stay mad at all, and more solution oriented. So I think that it's hard to teach people to be that way, but you can certainly help people that are that way to get better at it.
And I can teach you about plants. That's what I can.
And she can definitely teach you about plants and how to, take your car apart and put it back together, electrical, how to build systems that are efficient to run large companies. She can teach you all of those things.
I can, yeah.
You can, 100%. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Great job, great time. Great job as a panelist for the first time.
Thank you.
Andrew Pierce, what can you teach us?
That along with Sarah's patience, or whoever said patience, the other trick to that is to not plan out the entire journey. Just take the next step and see what happens, and then new options will open up, and then you take whichever one of those feels right and you keep moving that way, because if you just plan it out, you'll never actually start. So while patience is good when dealing with others, when you're dealing with yourself, just start taking a step and take imperfect action and move forward that way.
100. And you know what? I think it's a quality that a lot of people that live on the coast have, that quality, because you can't really plan if a hurricane's coming to you.
You can. Not a pandemic. We can see a hurricane.
Right. But you can't stop her.
Ice and beer, a category 1, a category 2, and a category 3 is going to take.
Mm-hmm. How much ice and beer? Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that you are a pro of it. I mean, he knows how to turn lemons into lemons.
Ice and beer figured out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just know that, and we've had a lot of interaction with one another, and I know that's one of your superpowers. We can go into a lot of stories you shared with me, but I'm just telling you.
Well, I think Dom has it too, because he's got the chef background. I think it's a kitchen thing. When you're in a high octane, high energy, hot environment with ugly, sweaty guys, and everybody has a knife, and everybody goes home without bleeding, like, that's a success. And when you can funnel that energy, all right, Dom, you might have cut somebody, I get it. But when you funnel that energy into the business world, it just makes it so much easier to deal with the day-to-day things that pop up.
Yeah, there's something that I had read that Julia Child had said, and I thought it was great. And you'll be able to relate to this. But if you want to be a great cook or a great chef, you never apologize for your food.
No.
Because if you do that, that's weak. You're begging, because what you're doing is that when you apologize for your food, people are going to say, oh, no, it was good. It was good. If it was bad, it's just bad. Nothing you're going to be able to do about that. And your bad might be good to someone else. So
when people say it's not my grandmother's, I immediately back up, throw my hands and say, I know. I cannot cook like your grandmother. I'm not going to try to touch that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think it really relates to, to business as well. I mean, you're sometimes you may not give what you consider be your best job, but your client is ecstatic because it's the best they've ever received.
And that's the best referral you may ever get.
100%. Domenic, let's go, since we did a chef segue, current and former chef, financial advisor, what do you have to teach us, and what are your thoughts on what Domenic, Andrew and I just spoke about?
I mean, I guess I could start with a quality low country crab cake, but I'm going to go back and claim my world's greatest lover moniker that you've pegged me with the last 3 weeks. And I'm going to tell everybody that I want to teach you guys to love the people around you in this world, and also to love yourself. As I said before, a lot of people are having a hard time right now, but it takes a lot of self-care, right, to self-motivate, to be able to take care of your family in these sorts of situations and be strong for them, to be able to take care of your community. I think last week I mentioned the 4 different Greek words for love, and they mean 4 different things, right? But the hardest one is agape, which is love as an action, right? And we take that when we have people like Katie and Jackie who just give so much to the community. They may even know the people they necessarily help. They may know some of them, but not all of them. And they're going to touch people that, they don't even know about by their activities and their actions. We hear when we're doing this panel each and every week, there are people that are watching out there on social media, or they're following along in the chat. And, we may say something that just is really super impactful to them. It's because we're sharing our passions, we're sharing our love of what we do, our love of each other. But it's in that way that we do it with intentionality, and we do it because that's who we are as people. And if we can show that kind of love of humanity each and every day, then I think we can all make the world a better place in our own little way. And if we all did that, I think that a lot of these problems that we're experiencing, we maybe not be able to get rid of a virus, right, like that, but the friction and the tension that we all see going on out there on a day-to-day basis, we could keep that to a minimum, because we all know we're in this together. We're all people. We share a common humanity. And that's what I want to teach everybody.
Well, I think you're 100% right. And indeed, one of the great advantages of being a networker and a connector is it's really not an ends to a means. I mean, people that just get into networking because they want to make more money and have more business are rarely successful. But
people sniff it out right away.
Yeah. But if you're going into for meaningful connections because you care about your neighbor and you want to create a greater world, you're going to have immediate success from day one, from your first interaction at any networking event. And I feel that the people that do have strong networks beyond, including their family, but beyond their family, are going to thrive during situations like this. I mean, because we're going to pull together and we're going to help one another.
That's right.
And as far as at the beginning of what you were saying, you were talking about, blaming your situation on, other people. I'm a big proponent, that people do that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that if you can then forgive them. I'm a big proponent of cognitive therapy. And I've gone to I think in my life, spoken with some great therapists. And they said to me, you know, blame everything on your parents and then forgive them and move on and own your own life at that point. And I think that goes with every relationship. You know, you can blame it on, you know, your accountant, or you can blame it on your doctor or what have you, but then forgive them and take your own responsibility. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are, you know, I don't really think that way, that I'm going to blame my problems on somebody else, even my parents. You know, I look back at my relationship with my parents and I can think of, you know, 100 things that I would have done differently, but it doesn't matter because they did the best they could. And there were a lot of things that I did that were messed up along the way. And I need to take responsibility for that. And just in general, I look at those situations, and when there are mistakes made, I think of what I could have done better. I look at the mistakes that I made and I forgive myself. And if you can take responsibility for things that you do, forgive yourself, and then move on, that you have to do that first before you can start forgiving other people. I really think that's true. So that's a love yourself thing again, you know, going back to that.
I think it's the next step. I think when you own your current situation, it frees you from the past.
Sure.
So, you know, there are people that have, you know, had identical situations, and how their lives have turned out have been very different. And a lot of that is because of mindset.
Yes.
So two people are really getting into that conversation, and they're actually the two next people. So who wants to go first, Jenny or Jackie? Let's fight it out. Who's next?
No fighting. No fighting.
Okay,
Loving.
Jackie.
Just loving.
Jackie, from The World's Greatest Lover. Do you know there was a movie, The World's Greatest Lover, and it starred, Gene Wilder. Check it out. You'll really enjoy it if you need to laugh.
I'm on that. Assignment taken.
Okay, and we're going to have another question, because we're going to have a little bit of time for a quick question after this, a fun one.
Okay.
So, Jackie, what can you
since I'm the chosen one.
What can you teach us today?
Well, you know, for me, I think it's so important that we identify with our priorities. You can easily, and particularly at a time like this, dealing with the pandemic and so many other things in our personal lives, I think it's important to identify what your priorities are in life, and then you want to direct your focus on those in the right direction to deal with those priorities. I think oftentimes we get sidetracked, so many distractions that really take us away from the things that matter the most in our lives. And I think it's really important that even if you have to write what your priorities are, write them down and have them readily available as a constant reminder of where you need to focus your energy. If we can do that, I think we can accomplish a lot of greatness, and not just for ourselves, but for the people in our circle. And that's really how I'm dealing with throughout this pandemic. And I'm so angry at myself, and I ask myself, what took you so long to really adapt to something that you've always believed in? It's just that distractions can take you away from everything that you believe in. And so I have created that list of what my priorities are, and I am focusing my attention in that direction, and I can see the positive outcome as a result of that. So if we can do that. And one other thing, I try not to watch the late evening news here lately, because it's just really a distraction. You don't know what's true and what's not. I think it's important too that we start to do a little research to educate ourselves. You can't believe everything that you hear on the news. You can't, even if it's coming from what appears to be a reliable source, you just can't. And I think it's important that you take the time to self-educate. Don't look to other people to give you bits and pieces of information, and then you act on those things, and because I think that's how we get into trouble. So that's what I have to teach this week, and I hope it is helpful to someone.
So, you know, perhaps when you're looking at the news, you know, separate at what you know, they're reporting the news. That's their job. They want to do that, but they have a tendency to put a bias on it.
Yes.
Strip out those layers and find the truth. I mean, we're all intelligent people on this panel. I would assume most of the people that are watching us right now have a high level of intelligence too.
You know what I noticed?
Are trying to trying to manipulate you or to pander to you.
And that happened this week. I was watching the news last night, and the chief executive for the FDA, who came on to talk about why he issued the emergency release of this vaccine for coronavirus that hasn't been fully gone through all phases of a clinical trial. And he goes, well, this morning I'm listening to him again saying that he made a mistake in the information, the data that he presented that influenced his decision to release an emergency use of this plasma. And I got to thinking, do you know how many people's lives would be affected by that? And you're chalking it up as a mistake, but in essence, it wasn't a mistake. But unless you do your homework, I happen to have a background in clinical trials. I worked in the industry for 5 years. I also understand cell biology, and I also understand vaccines and viruses. And so, but for those people who, the general public that does not understand that, that wasn't acceptable to me. And that's what I mean by making sure that you take time to self-educate. You can call people, the universities have Duke University, UNC, they have skilled scientists who work with viruses. They can at least explain the basics to you so that you don't look at some data that really, the data wasn't manipulated. It was just not data that would prove that it's safe to to expose people to plasma that hasn't gone through a full phase of clinical trials.
So there's a website, it's called Real Clear Politics. And on Real Clear Politics, they have Real Clear Science, health, defense, energy, business, you name it, whatever topic. And what I like about that is they will print an article from the center, from the right, from the left, all on the same topic, and they stack them right on top of one another. So
but for me, I wanted to eliminate the politics out of this. I wanted to focus on the science.
Well, let me go a little further, not just on the science, because not everyone is equipped to do the science like you are. But to see 3 different perspectives and read them and then say, wow, they are so divergent in their views, but they agree on this portion of it. That's the part I want to know. I want to know where they have consensus. And it's a great tool to do it. So check it out. It's Real Clear Politics. And if you're a news junkie, an article junkie, and like to read medical journals and the like, but you don't want to pay, and you don't want to pay thousands of dollars to do it because they all have paywalls. There's no paywalls on that site.
Oh, awesome.
You can read if you wanted to, you could read 500 articles in a day for free. And there is 500 articles there. Check it out. So Jenny, I'm going to give you a last word on what can you teach us today, and then if we have a little time, I'll throw out the next question. Go ahead.
All right. Well, don't forget Clint too.
So Clint. Oh, we got Clint.
He'll be the last but not least.
Clint, you'll be the last. Go ahead.
So today, let's see. Today I can teach you how to start the process of letting go of some limiting beliefs and that imposter syndrome that's holding you back. And it starts with 3 very simple questions. The first question is to ask yourself, what are the core beliefs that you hold about yourself? Because a lot of times the trolls that you're feeding in your head are not actually reflecting your core beliefs and your core values. And then the second question is to ask yourself, do you believe that you are worthy of love just as you are? Because likely so a lot of us will think and that it's about esteem and that we don't feel worthy about things, but when you pose yourself the question, it's kind of like a mental head slap, like, of course, why wouldn't I be worthy of love just as I am? And the third question is that you have to ask yourself is, must I be perfect for others to approve of me? And breaking those things down and asking yourself those questions when you're faced with things that are making you feel like you're not enough is a really simple way to kind of break through that cycle of not enoughness and limiting beliefs.
Very good. And now I feel really bad about forgetting Clint, because like in the back here on the chat privately, like 6 people wrote, "Don't forget about Clint. Don't forget about Clint." So Clint, what do you have to teach us?
It's the same thing I preach every day, man. So just a couple of things. Live in gratitude. Be okay saying no. And that's a really hard one for a lot of people, because as people, we are people pleasers, and we don't want to, say no to anybody. We want to help anybody that we possibly can. So that's a big one for me, especially recently. Make time for yourself. Be intentional. Give yourself some grace, and that's a very big one. But none of it matters if you're not willing to put in the work. And so you have to put in the work. You have to do this stuff, just like networking. You can't come to 1 or 2 networking events and expect ROI. You can't meditate once. You can't fill out a journal a couple of times. You can't work on your physical health or mental health once or twice and expect any results. You got to keep going. You got to put in the work, and you have to be intentional about the work that you're putting in, because without that, nothing really matters.
Great stuff. So since we have like a limited time, and I did have another question, I'm going to let Clint answer this question, since I apparently had forgotten him entirely. Clint, everybody needs a good laugh. I think after everyone finishes their work at the end of the day, if they don't go to sleep, they may be turning on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something along those lines. Can you write, what is your favorite comedy?
Like TV show?
Or a movie or anything? What just, you can watch it 100 times and it's
so the best show of all time, comedy wise, is Friends. There is just no denying that. Friends and Big Bang Theory are my go-tos. But I'll tell you, man, the one of the best movies, and the one I will stop on every single time that's a comedy, no matter what channel it's on, if it's edited or unedited, is Coming to America.
That is a hilarious movie. Have not seen it for 15 years.
Yep.
I think it's something we can watch with our kids even, right?
No. Not even edited, Steven.
No, not
even edited, bro. Don't do that.
Like a Disney movie or
No, Nutty Professor you'd be good with. That an Eddie Murphy flick you'll be okay with.
Dr. Dolittle, like
but
that.
Not Coming to America.
I mean, Sarah and I worked our way through 11 seasons of Cheers.
Okay.
And you have to realize we didn't see the 12th season yet because they canceled it on Netflix. We will be watching the 12th season. That is like 1,000 episodes.
It's
Cheers.
great.
And we watched it with our kids. And if you remember, there was a lot of risque stuff on that show.
Well, it's because Sam.
Kids don't catch any of it.
Yeah. I guarantee you they'll catch Coming to America.
Okay. Well, Sarah, can we watch that with the kids?
No,
Coming to America?
definitely not.
Definitely not. Okay,
Definitely.
we are watching Star Wars with the younger one, and we are in those 3 at the 3rd episode of the 3 really bad Star Wars movies, and they are
The early
so bad.
2001.
They are so much worse than I ever remembered them to be. So wish me luck getting through that to get to the good ones again. Sarah, do you?
I know, are the more recent ones the good ones, like the ones that were just put out? Has anybody seen them? Are they better?
Aren't there 6 bad ones?
They're better than the prequels,
Okay.
but they're not spectacular.
They're not the originals.
Well, just the
4, 5, and
storyline.
6 that came out as 1, 2, and 3, right?
Sure, whatever.
The one with Jar Jar Binks is definitely the worst Star Wars.
Oh, it's the worst.
The worst Star Wars movie of all time. They should eliminate that from the canon entirely. I want to thank everyone for joining us this week. You can find out about Rockstar Connect by going to our website. You can copy the chat here. Everyone has dropped their information in if you'd like to connect with them. Make sure you connect with them on LinkedIn. I have a feeling I'm going to go on my phone and look at the app for an event. We might be sold out. So if you have not, but there may be a ticket or 2 left. So if you are watching this live, you can look up on Eventbrite the 3 Martini lunch at Sullivan's and possibly get a ticket and meet Sarah. And, Jackie's going to be there. Jenny's going to be there. Clint's going to be there. Others.
Dominic's going to be there.
And meet us all in person, face to face at a distance with masks, no touching. No touching, guys.
No touching. Yeah.
No touching. And, it's hard not to touch.
What did they call it when you would sleep in a bed with your significant other when you weren't married? What's the board they'd put up in the middle?
I don't know. They didn't do that at my house.
No, I mean, they used to do it like 200 years ago. It's like a modesty board or something like that. We're going to put up the modesty board.
Yeah, we actually, at this event, we all carry these plexiglass screens.
Yep, there you go. That's what I was talking about.
No, we don't. But we hope to see all of you there. RockstarConnect.com. We'll see you next week here, Tuesday, 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope this was of value to everyone. It's of tremendous value to me. I love it when I speak with you, and I miss you when I'm not speaking with you. So raise your hand and say goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you. And go out there and Rockstar Connect. Bye.
Thank
See
you.
you guys Thursday. Everybody have a great rest of the week.
Thursday. See you there.